Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Lori, the PhD Antiques Appraiser. It's good to be with you. Thanks for joining me live. So remember, all the things that I'm going to talk about tonight, I don't know what's coming. So, your questions, I'm going to answer them. Super chats, super stickers, and thanks so much for being with me. We're going to play Dr. Lori's Treasure Hunt game. Let's get started right here with this. So this particular piece, I want to know, how good a thrifter really are you? So do you know what questions to ask? What questions would you ask if you saw this piece sitting on a shelf at an estate sale, at a thrift store, at a yard sale, at an antique shop, maybe in grandma's attic or basement? What questions would you ask about this particular piece? So Tom's, what do you want to know? Do you want to know if it's pressed? What does that mean, pressed? Is the glass pressed? I oftentimes you've heard me say, no pain, no gain. If you take your thumb and you press your particular thumb into that object, into the decoration area of that object, and you move it around, if you feel like you're going to get cut, it's cut glass. If you feel like it's smooth, right? It's pressed glass, right? So if it's smooth, it's pressed. If you feel like you'll get cut, it's cut. No pain, no gain. So you're looking for the cut glass. Is this one cut or is this one pressed? Is that your question? What's your question? It is rather heavy. It's a rather heavy piece, but remember, there's a lot of glass here. This particular piece is smooth when I put my thumb into the decoration. So it's smooth, so that should tell you something. What's its age? How old is it? Okay, this piece dates to the middle part of the 20th century. And a lot of art historians and experts like me, remember, I'm the expert in the field. A lot of experts like me will speak in centuries. They'll say the 20th century, the 19th century, rather than saying the 1900s or the 1800s. So you have to get kind of accustomed to that if you're not accustomed to that. So age on it, middle part of the 20th century. Cut glass is going to be your next purchase. Okay, Mick wants to buy cut glass. Okay. Cut glass is very good. Are there any chips? How do you tell a chip? I've taught you this in my glass videos. I've also taught you this in the perfume bottle video. So a lot of times you're thinking, oh, I don't want to talk about and look at videos about perfume bottles. Guess what? You can learn a lot about glass, crystal, and those types of things from some of the other valuable and informative videos that I give you on different topics. So utilize the fact that I have a very, very large amount of videos giving you instruction on all different topics like glass and crystal. So it might come in the form of vases, right? Or glassware or pitchers, but it might also come in the form of perfume bottles. So you might want to tune into that. Is this particular piece any chips or any cracks? I always say close your eyes. Let your fingers and your hands do some of the work in trying to identify, in fact, chips or cracks. There are no chips or cracks, abrasions or inclusions, any other types of damage on this particular piece. And this particular piece has a very smooth decorative surface. What other questions do you want to know? What other questions do you want to know? Let's give you a good look. Let me move this finger. Let me give you a good look at it so you can see the decorative element of it. You can see some of the areas that are very important, like this area right here, which is that prominent floral form. This is not a Hob star form, that lots of you are familiar with, right? But this particular form is actually, again, repeated form all the way down. There's your Hob star, right? But then the flower, which is here, right here as we come up. You can also see right here the stem, and then, of course, the big flower here at the top, okay? So the Dr. Lori cam is helping you out so you know what's what. Don't forget to identify the base. Don't forget to look around the base. You've heard me say it, it's all about the base, right? So look at the base, right? Make sure that you know that. What would it have been used for? What do you think it's used for? Not for drinking, right? It's, of course, for flowers, right? It's a vase. Notice something here around this area too on this particular piece, and that is what's sometimes referred to as sawtooth. And I'm going to put it up here so you can see the sawtooth. So you can see, in fact, the sawtooth right here at the top, right along here where my finger is. Right? And you can see it looks like, again, the teeth of a saw. You see that? And you can tell that it's not cut because you can tell, in fact, how smooth or almost rounded these areas of the sawtooth. On a piece of cut glass, they would be very sharp, very pointed. So that's one of the other elements I want you to be able to see with the Dr. Lori cam. So other questions you got for it? Age. Did you ask me what material it is? So you know it's pressed glass, right? you know a little bit about the different names of the actual decoration, right? So these patterns are very important because some people will actually collect a particular pattern. This may sound dumb, but does sound make a difference? When you ting it, sound doesn't make a difference. There are a lot of people who believe that sound makes a difference for value, right? But in fact, that idea about sound, when you ting it, when you ting glass, that's an old wives' tale. A lot of people who are not experts like to use that as, oh, it sounds good. But in fact, just the way a glass sounds doesn't relate directly to value. So I've talked about this a lot when I talk about instructional videos about this. You know, I tell you a lot of information in my videos. On this channel, it's all about me trying to train you. You know, I'm telling you these things that a lot of other people just don't know because they don't have the background, education, and experience as an appraiser for the last 25 years. I also, you know, there are people who might know some of this stuff, but they don't choose to share it with you. I choose to share it with you. I want you to learn it. I don't want to compete with you. I want you to learn it. So I'm really happy that you're here with me tonight. I want to see what you think about this particular piece. Okay, so this piece is, of course, what's called an early American pressed glass, right? They sometimes call that. And this particular piece is American made. And this particular piece, of course, is a vase. It has a sawtooth pattern. It also has some hobstar piece elements, as well as a pattern with this flower in the center. And this particular piece is from the middle part of the 20th century. Ralph is giving you a little bit of information. He's basically doing the shorthand that I just told you. So thanks, Ralph. And this particular piece, I want you to know, what do you think it's worth now that I've ID'd it for you? What do you think it's worth? Good questions. Let's hear those questions. What do you think it's worth? Right? Let's play the treasure hunt game. Guess that value. Let's play the treasure hunt game. I'll also answer questions, of course, super chats, super stickers. And don't forget, I want to see how good a thrifter you are. I want to see if you know what to ask. You got to look at these things and ask those questions and think in your mind, what do I do? Where can you find buyers for your Netsuke? Oh, well, your Netsuke, first of all, you have to spell it correctly. So Netsuke is spelled Netsuke, right? And there are a lot of buyers for, of course, Asian pieces like that. So I talk about these types of things and where you can resell, of course, Netsuke all over. I like those focused places where you are looking at people who aren't only purchasing these pieces for low bargains. So I want you to know as much as you can about your object, and then you can post it online anywhere. You cut out the middlemen doing it that way. Hello, Courtney. Thank you very much for your super chat. I appreciate it. I'm glad you love the videos. I know you are all being successful. I know you are making a lot and following my videos. Thank you for supporting the channel. You support everything when you do that. When you help support the channel, it supports everybody. So everybody should be thanking Courtney. Thanks also for those of you who have bought anything from the loops, which will help you, of course, and I'll teach you how to use the loops too. The loops, or of course, the diamond tester, the mug, you know, the Dr. Lori Says mugs also support the channel, as do the t-shirts. So thanks for doing that. Merchandise is available. You can buy it right here in the store on YouTube. Okay. I see some numbers. I saw 120. I saw 40. What do you think it's worth? This is our piece tonight. This is the of course, pressed glass, very large. This piece is pretty significant, about 11 inches, 225, 45, 32. For those of you who are watching on the replay and aren't watching live, people are like, oh, well, I don't want you to call out the numbers. I like everybody to see what the numbers are as well. And remember, when you're looking at these pieces on other people's sites, a lot of people have been asking me, Dr. Lori, will you look at my shop and go through and see if I'm pricing items correctly? A lot of my clients are doing that because they know that they're not utilizing the market as well as they can. I want you to understand the market so you can get the most money out of these pieces that you are reselling in the thrifting environment. So you want to make sure that you're getting the most money out of these pieces. I want you to get it. This particular piece has very defined and interesting elements that are clear, and then they have other pieces that are pressed, trying to look like American Brilliant Cut crystal. But in fact, this is pressed. It's a beautiful piece. It has a nice form. Don't forget about looking for the form. Notice how it's bulbous here, and then it gets slender, and then it comes straight out. It's a nice piece of American, of course, pressed glass. What do we think? How much do you think it's worth? Judy says 75. What do we think it's worth? You're still guessing? Maureen, 600. 600 is way too high. It's completely too high for this type of piece. And what would happen is a lot of people would actually take that. If you price something like this at $600, a lot of people would take that and they would think that your whole channel or your whole, of course, or your whole store is overpriced. So be careful with this. The same thing as if you were looking and you're just pricing things very, very low. You have to analyze the market, right? The market for a piece like this would never be as high as 600. You know, I think a lot of people like to try to, of course, increase and inflate the value, right? If they have a lot of these types of pieces in their inventory, you see a lot of auctioneers and some dealers doing that. So you want to think about that. Janice sold her first item today, thanks to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you supporting the channel. So thank you for doing that. I'm glad it worked out well. So Mick buys Netski to make jewelry. Maybe Mick should get in touch with the person who's trying to sell the Netski. See, you can find, of course, buyers and sellers right here on the channel too. But thanks so much for the super chat and the super stickers. I appreciate it. I like to know that you know what to do. Kelly says 95 bucks. Okay, you want to know what it's worth? This particular piece is worth $95. So not bad, not bad. We had it right on the nose. We're going to see if I can't do that again and find somebody who has it right on the nose. Now, I have seen these selling for less and for more. So remember that. But the 600 number, way too high. So I want you to think about those types of things. And I want you to think when you're looking at the treasure hunt to sort of put into play all the things that I've taught you. The treasure hunt game is a way for you to sort of see how good you are playing against your friends and your family, right? And playing even against one another here on the channel. But also, I want you to have an idea of what these pieces would be worth. So again, heavy, right? So, well, good quality, American made. The patterns also will tell you American. And the other things that you're looking for is you're looking for, of course, condition. Condition is to king for all of these antiques. So a lot of fun to see that too. You had the pleasure of doing a video call with Dr. Lori. She was especially kind, patient, and informed. Oh, Jillian, thank you so much. It's nice to see you. Thank you again. It was fun to talk with you, of course. And to see some of the objects that you found in places like Facebook Marketplace and on social media channels and other places, and to see what the true value is. So I like to identify that and help you to analyze the market. You'll do very well. You'll have success. I'm sure of it. I teach you what to look for, and I give you expert information, and that's what I want to do. And I can do it better than anybody else. I have to say it because you don't always hear it. And the other things you don't always hear is when I'm typing something to you or telling you instructions about something from an email or from our office, you don't always read the complete thing. I want you to read everything because the information I'm giving you, I'm trying to give you as much information in one spot as I possibly can. So what you can do, of course, is I want you to look right here. I want you to know what I'm sharing for you so you know what's what. You missed it, so how much was it? Rewatch the video. No, I'm kidding. It was $95 for this particular piece. You missed it. What were you doing? Were you eating potato chips? I'm really wanting potato chips now. I've been on my diet a long time and I'm really like wanting potato chips. It's getting bad. Anyway, so other pieces, other things. Let's play another one. You ready for another round? Let's do another round. So a couple of things I want to remind you, of course, as we go through it. I wanted to remind you about the community tab before we play our second round. But basically, the community tab is going to have all the extras on it. And for those of you who are looking for the extras, I want you to go to the community tab. Now, how do you get to the community tab? Dr. Lori, I can't get to the community tab. Okay. I want you to subscribe on YouTube. You have to subscribe first. So you must subscribe, and then you can go right there. It'll pop right up on your device in the community tab. If you're having trouble with things, I don't know what it might be. You might be having trouble with, oh, I can't buy a piece on your store, or oh, I can't find this, or oh, I can't find that. Check your settings, right? You may have certain settings that are on or off, and I want you to check those too. So you have to know your devices as well, but we'll help you get through it. We'll help you find everything that you need. One of the things that I know that you need is, of course, to help support the channel. So Kimberly, thank you for supporting the channel with the super sticker. It means a lot. It helps us to get great things like the Dr. Lori cam. So before I do this next one, I want to show you on the Dr. Lori cam this particular piece. Oh, I got to watch my rolling pin there. I want to show you this piece. And I want to show it to you from this side, right, from looking in down the bottom. Why am I showing you this on the Dr. Lori cam? Because I want you to actually see how it tapers and how this is actually made. And then from here, I want to show you, and this is from the Yale Art Gallery. If you can't do it in one fell swoop, do it twice. So there's the other side. And here, of course, is the base, is the bottom, the underside. Let's take a look at the underside so you can see that. Do you see that and do you recognize that? And what does that mean to you? So I want you to be able to see that. So you see everything as we're moving it. I want you to see the speckles and look at the color and understand the glaze. And then here is the shape. Okay, so you get a sense of the shape of this particular piece that I'm going to talk about now. So, all right, does that help? Sometimes doing the object first helps a little bit. Showing it to you first. I'm going to show it to you here so you get an idea of size and put it next to this one so you can get an idea of size, right? Okay, so about, I would say about 6 inches tall. That looks like a vintage Hager, but the glaze is too glossy. Okay, Maureen, it might be, you're saying it looks like a vintage Hager, but the glaze is too glossy. I showed you a mark on the bottom and the mark said something. Did you see the mark? I'll show you the mark again. So Hager would have a different mark than this particular mark. So if you think it looks like a vintage Hager piece, think about the time period for the Hager. Is it the same time period? There's the mark again. Doesn't say Hager. Okay. Maybe that helps. What questions would you ask? What questions would you ask about this piece? Is it Glidden? Is it Glidden? Is it Glidden? You all read it. It's Glidden. It's Glidden. Where's Glidden made? You should know a little bit about Glidden. You saw it, but you didn't recognize the mark. Okay, you've seen it before, but you didn't recognize the mark. All right. Well, Glidden is made in Alfred, New York. It's one of the premier pieces of what time period? She gave you a little hint thinking it was Hager. Is it the same time period? Other questions? Was that the McCoy mark? No, it's not McCoy. Hand-thrown, hand-glazed clay. It is, in fact, hand-glazed. It is, in fact, hand-built. What other questions do you want answered? Would it be easy for you to find out more? Is it numbered? There was a 6 on the bottom. What does the 6 mean? The 6 means the shape. The 6 is actually the mold shape for this particular piece. So that's what that means. Sometimes there will be actually an artist identifier as well on this piece. You don't have an artist identifier. Couldn't anyone sign it Glidden? Yes, anyone could sign it Glidden, but it would have to have other properties which relates to Glidden. And most pieces wouldn't have that, right? So it wouldn't have these particular types of properties. First of all, it wouldn't look like this. The glaze wouldn't be like this. The form wouldn't be like this. This piece looks like other Glidden pieces. So yes, you'd have to do this, but you'd have to do this in the late 1950s in Glidden in Alfred, New York with this particular material. Everything tells you a little bit of something. So don't just think a signature is the end all be all. You all think, oh, somebody could sign it, and then, you know, you're off to the races. There's a lot of things that are not signed, that are valuable. There are a lot of things that are signed that are fakes. So I'm going to teach you the difference. Any cracks or chips? No. No cracks, no chips, no glaze skips, no flea bites. It is not part of a set. It is one piece. It is used for the same thing as this is used for. They're both, of course, it is mid-century modern. It's from the late 1950s. And you may not know this, but Glidden pottery was collected by a woman who you may know her name, Lucille Ball. The actress Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz had Glidden pottery in their Hollywood home. So a lot of Glidden was also on her famous show, I Love Lucy, on TV in the 1950s. So now you have a celebrity connection to, of course, this particular piece and others like it. Now, all of a sudden, you have to start thinking, how does that impact the value? What do I know about the value? How are you going to identify the value? What should you be doing? Watching the binge link, using the binge link. Of course, the binge link, where is it? It's in the description right here on YouTube. Right in the description of the channel is the binge link so you can watch all the videos. I need you to watch all the videos, and I need you to share the videos. You're not sharing the videos because people are saying, I can't find this, I can't find that. You need to share them. It will help you. It will help them. So I want you to help, and I'm going to help you by teaching you more about pieces that are typically found in those thrift stores, antique shops, estate sales. What's typically found now in these places? It's much more common. No, Glidden paint has nothing to do with Glidden pottery. The most more common pieces that we are seeing in these places are from World War II era after 1945 to about the 1980s now. You're going to see more of those pieces coming in more and more as we get farther into the 21st century. What about the color? Is the color typical of mid-century modern, or is this a rare color? It's not just marked, is it actually signed, correct? It is actually a signature Glidden, but pieces were marked Glidden in different ways. So you might see this Glidden mark, which is authentic, and you might see another Glidden mark that doesn't look like this Glidden mark that's also authentic. Why? Because different potters who are working at Glidden are actually signing the pieces. And Glidden is, of course, in business for a long time. So, of course, different people are going to be marking the bottom of the pieces. So, good question. That was a good question. Smart. You got to think of those good questions. What other questions do you have about the object? What else do you want to know? What type of ceramic? Yeah, there's a speckled glaze. There's a speckled glaze. It's kind of a mustard color, which will tell you that it's later in the 1950s into the 1960s. That's a good question. Is there a special name for the finish? It is, of course, hand glazed. Notice how thin this is. Notice how thin the body is. That's also a quality element. What does that mean, a quality element? When you see something that has been fired in a kiln and it is this thin and it didn't break, that's a quality element. That means that this particular piece is of higher quality than others. Those heavier ones, the ones that are very, very thick, well, it's easier to build that up and make sure that that doesn't crack in a kiln. But something like this, nice and thin, that's hard. That's a hard piece to make sure that it doesn't get, of course, that it doesn't get more, that it doesn't get damaged in the kiln during that time. So this is a quality element. Is it worth more than the sigh? I don't know what that means. Is it worth more with the sigh? What does that mean, Nicole? Can you explain that to me, sweetheart? Does it mean more with the signature? Is that what you meant? Maybe that's what you meant with the signature. It's good to have the signature. If you had two pieces of Glidden and one was signed, but they're both made at the factory at the same time, which one would you want to buy? Everybody likes a signature. That doesn't mean that the other one is a bad one. Does it mean that it was fired at a higher temperature? Not necessarily. It doesn't mean that it's fired at a higher temperature. It means that the body in the clay is of higher quality, so we can have a lightweight body. If it's a thick body, it doesn't look as good, typically, for a piece like this, of this type of ceramic. You've got to learn your different types of ceramics. The same way you have to learn your different types of prints, you have to all do that. So anyway, that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at. So Glidden is at its height of production during the mid-century modern period and then the late 1950s. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for typical late 1950s pieces. Is this a late 1950s color? That might be one of the ways that you guys can identify that. Other questions. Is it important to know the colors? Yes, it's important to know the colors. It's important to state them properly. So people like to use those terms. The only problem is some of your potential buyers, if you're a seller, may not know the colors or may not know the specific terms. So don't get bogged down on specific terms because a lot of your potential buyers will be confused by that. So you don't want to confuse them. And I always say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Take photographs, make sure they're good. These are from some of my selling tips videos, which could help you too. What was it used for? Would you destroy it if you put dirt in it? Well, it wouldn't destroy it if you put dirt in it. It was intended, of course, you could use it as a planter, but it was intended as a vase. So no, it wouldn't destroy it. It's a strong thing. It's strong. It's all glazed all the way inside too. You amaze me the way you can rattle off so much information. I have 3 degrees in the field. I've been in this field for nearly 3 decades. I worked in major museums, and rattling off information to teach you, I want you to learn it. The more I can tell you in a short amount of time, the better off you're all going to be. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you this information. So you're saying I'm rattling off information. I'm trying to get the database out to you. I'm trying to teach you all of this because I care about your success. So rattling it off, I guess you could call it rattling it off. I'm just happy to be able to share it with all of you. Having said that, what do you think? Trish, thank you so much for supporting the channel and for recognizing that the channel is valuable to you. I appreciate very much your super chat, your super sticker. So thank you all. I know a lot of you are doing very well, and I'm happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that. I met, of course, a young woman today who said, I started my business, Dr. Lori. I went to one of the big sites and I was able to start my store and I'm able to sell things because now I feel empowered that you're teaching me what to do and how to do it properly. I understand the markets, and when I don't know, I know who to ask. I ask you. So that's great. I'm happy to hear that. Guess the value. What do you think it's worth? What do we think it's worth? I like the shape. Don't you like the shape? It has a nice form, a nice shape. I like Glidden a lot. Glidden Pottery, Alfred, New York, upstate New York. Great places for, of course, glass as well as, of course, ceramic and pottery. Nice pieces, really nice pieces. Sherry, thank you so much, Sherry, for your super sticker. I appreciate it. You're supporting the channel. You're supporting everybody else who's on the channel who's learning stuff. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure that your fellow watchers and fellow subscribers will want to support the channel too, to support you. Chrissy, 135. I think it's worth 135. Right? Piece of Glidden American pottery. American pottery, is it more valuable here or somewhere else? Should you open it up to a global market? Should you actually know a little bit more about its history, like famous collectors like Lucille Ball and other actors who actually in the 1950s would feature this type of piece? Oh my God, I've learned so much from watching you the last month. I'm so glad I found you. I didn't get to read the rest of that. I'm so glad I found your I need to order the loop. How do you order the loop? You're all saying, Dr. Lori, I can't find the loop. How do I find the loop? You need the loop. You need the loop. It's 10-time magnification and it's 30-time magnification. Where do you find it? drloriv.com/shopping. Do you see that link? It's right there. So go to that link and you will find it. And once you get to that link, I want you to be able to go to that link and find this loop and click on it. And if you don't see a picture of the loop, if you don't see that, check your settings. You may have something turned off. So check out right there. Let's see it again. drloriv.com/shopping, which will help you to get the one tool that you need. It's in Dr. Lori's treasure hunting kit right on the shopping page. It's important that you get it. Why? It's not that expensive and it's really going to help you a lot. If you wear glasses or if you have vision like I do, that, you have to basically take out a contact lens or maybe you put on the loop is fantastic. That's right, Toms. So basically, if you have to put on glasses or take off glasses, move the loop a little bit, but I will help you with it. Get the loop, you won't regret it. It's very inexpensive anyway, and what you're regretting, you're going to get all this information. I'm happy to share it. Thank you very much, Posh. So thanks so much for that. What about the Glidden? How about the Glidden? I love Glidden personally. I've enjoyed Glidden for a long, long time. I think Glidden is wonderful and beautiful and gorgeously made. I don't know if gorgeously is a word, but I just made it up. So it's gorgeously made. It's very, very lovely. It's nice in the hand. And I like you to hold pieces and sort of get that feeling about pieces, that it feels good in your hand, that you have a consistent, of course, thing of you adore Glidden, you have a bunch. So 33 IRLs, eBay on 55. I don't agree with you there, Janine. I think you're on the wrong place. I think you're marketing that in the wrong place for a piece of Glidden like this. She's saying $55 on eBay for this. I think you're in the wrong place. I think there are higher end sites where you could sell this for more money. Why? Because I tell people a lot during my video calls. I just had a conversation actually today on a video call about how you have to know where you're going to sell it. There's not only one good place to sell everything. There are certain sites that are good for certain things, but there are certain sites that are better for other things. I wouldn't sell the Humpty Dumpty cookie jar on the same site where I would sell the costume jewelry necklace. So I would put those in two different places because you're trying to command the most money when you're doing reselling. And that's from years of experience. That's not just somebody who wants to say, oh, I like this. Oh, I like that color. Oh, this mark has this on these YouTube channels. I want you to learn how it really works so you can really be successful. Can we set a time with you while at the thrift store? Yes. People take me shopping all the time. Actually, a couple of days ago, I had a client who was having me go through an online auction with her. She said, I'd like you to look at this online auction. I want to bid on certain things. Will you look at the actual auction listings with the photographs, because I'm not good at looking at photographs and knowing what I'm looking at. So yes, I've done that. And yes, you can set up a video chat with me and you could be at the thrift store and you can show me exactly what you want to buy. Dr. Lori, what do you think of this? Dr. Lori, is that fake? Is that real? Yes, you can do that with me, of course. You can't do that with other people because other people don't know how to do that. I want you to experience and get the expertise that I am sharing with you. So yes, you can do that. You can be shopping while you're doing that. You don't have to shop and then come back and do it all at once. I don't care. It's fine with me. Could you show the bottom one more time, please? Sure, honey. Yes, it is in fact, thank you for asking the question. It is in fact spelled like the paint. Here's the Dr. Lori cam. Can you see it? Glidden. And look at the N. It kind of goes ooh, all the way down. Glidden. And the number 6 for the mold size, right? Some people would say, okay, well, it's about 6 inches high, the way Roseville does that, right? But it's actually a molded number, okay? Can you see it now? Is that clear for you? It's a great Dr. Lori cam. There are others who are, of course, copying me. I've seen other cams, you know how it is, but that's all right. We know that we're doing the best we can for you. I want you to get the best information from the actual expert, okay? And I keep telling you that because I don't want you to be confused. Don't forget, of course, Saturday nights, we do Ask Dr. Lori Live as well, where I'll take your questions. Taking your questions here tonight, too. So if you have some questions, you, of course, can ask me about that as well. But I need you to share and I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm happy to field your questions, and I want to teach you what to look for. Because once you know what to look for, then you'll know, is this a good bargain? Is this not a good bargain? I'm going to teach you that through all of the videos. You're welcome, Lori. You're welcome, Lori. Thank you. Thank you for all you do and being part of this community. I appreciate that. Juna says, you give me the courage and confidence to open my store. Juna Bug Home Decor in Hutchinson, Kansas. Good luck to you, Juna. I'm so happy to hear that. I want to instill confidence. You can do this. I will help. Lori, thank you so much. Thank you for, of course, being someone who purchased one of the mugs, the Ask Dr. Lori mugs, and a loop, and I appreciate that, and it's going to help all of you as well to have these things around. It's going to support the channel. It supports things like the Dr. Lori cam, right? It supports things like staff time and, of course, making more videos. There's lots of videos. Don't miss that perfume bottle video. You'll be happy that you watched it. Also, I premiere a new video every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And this is Dr. Lori's Treasure Hunt. You're going to guess the value? Did we guess the value? You got an idea? I know somebody thought $55. Lime Lit Girl. Okay. $55 on eBay, way too low. There we go. Janice says 100. A lot of you going, Dr. Lori, don't talk so much. Just get to the values. I'm going to keep talking. I have to educate you about this stuff. You need to learn it. And you're only going to learn it if you keep watching and asking the questions and having a resource, having someone who knows how to get the point across so you can learn this. Now, the next time you're in the thrift store, you're going to look for the slim body. You're going to look for a consistent glaze. You're going to look for the speckled decoration. You're going to look for this. The hard copy book that I recommend to research makers marks is going to be mine. I'm going to come out with it. You've all been asking me for the book. I am working on it. I'm giving you all the information. You all want a book? Fine, Julie, I'll give you a book. I think the videos are much more engaging, but some of you like a book and you want to write in a book, and that's fine. I'm working on that as well. The videos in the meantime are going to be the information that's going to help you with all of that, I am not big on a lot of these things. I want you to make sure that you know what information in the sources. You know, you're listening to a lot of these people and you don't know what their background is. You're listening to a lot of these people and you're watching videos of folks, you don't know what the source is. They're saying that something is made by this maker or is dated to this date, and they're not always correct. And this incorrect information is going to end up hurting you because somebody is going to go, wait a minute, I asked Dr. Lori and she said that that piece that you said is this, is not this. I don't want that to happen. So you've got to do that. Yeah, you'll be getting the book. I've written a lot of books in my career, and it's a lot of work if you do it right. But I'm doing it for all of you. Hey, we're back to this. Karina, $5 a super sticker. Thank you very much. You're supporting the channel and you're supporting me creating more of this content for you. I want the content to help you. What do we think it's worth? Should I tell you? Are you ready? Did you guess? Are you finished guessing? The big Glidden piece of American pottery is worth $85. It's a very nice piece. It's a good piece, in fact. It's based on actual sales. What does that mean? It's based on actual sales in the actual market where people who know the quality of the piece and understand the piece are paying this much, okay? So when somebody says, oh, it's $600 or it's $3, you know, a bargain of this, if you pick this up for $3, you know, like on my real bargains videos, right? And it's worth a whole lot more is what I want you to understand. So you identify and you go, wow, Dr. Lori, look at this. This is really cool. The same way as if you're shopping or if you're traveling somewhere that you would know how to identify a good souvenir. A good souvenir? Yeah, I did a lot of souvenir shopping and I still do. And the shopping will actually teach you a lot. I want you to look for forms that are recognizable to you, like this form, which is called the Greek key form. The Greek key form is a form you probably all have recognized. You see it at the bottom of these textiles, the bottom of these bags. It's called the Greek fret meander form or the Greek key form in, of course, art history. I'm going to use the Dr. Lori cam to show you something that's also the Greek key form. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it, but this, in fact, is the Greek key form on my ring. This is the Greek key form or the meander pattern form. I purchased this ring actually in a place called Kokakalon, which is not really near Athens, Greece. And this form is one that's really kind of interesting. You're probably wondering, why is she taking out her earring? But the earring is actually the same form. And at this point, I'm not wearing my gloves because I just put this earring in my ear. You can see that same form. It's called a meander pattern. We also, when I taught, of course, art history, I would also call it the Greek key form or the fret, F-R-E-T form. So when you are actually saying, okay, I want to market my piece that has one of these forms on it, that particular form is very important, and you might use either one of those terms. So what you start to learn is there's not only one term that's accurate sometimes. So this is why I don't want you to confuse your potential buyers either. This form also is very popular on things like red figure and black figure Greek vases. Here's some souvenirs of these types of pieces. So this, of course, is a black figure piece, and this is a new piece based on an antique form. And Greek vases were actually used. It wasn't the vase that was actually the gift, but actually the oil inside was the gift. And that was oftentimes seen as an award as well. Tiffany Sue, thanks for the super sticker. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. So what you have there is a black figure. You'll notice the figure itself is in black. The red figure would have the figure itself in red, and it would basically be a resist where everything around it would be black, and then the figure would come out in red. And in the newer pieces like that piece, which you could find today if you were traveling in Greece, you would actually see that kind of thing as well. So that's a black figure reproduction of an older piece. So if you notice me when I'm, of course, souvenir shopping, I'm all ready to shop. I don't know how you guys are when you're ready to shop, but I'm wearing stuff that's comfortable. I usually have all of this mop of a hair back, and I'm oftentimes wearing a baseball cap, just like that one from Yale, from the Yale Art Gallery when I worked there. But that hat, actually, I lost on a different trip. I wore it on a lot of trips, and that one's in Greece, and I'm there near the Pottery. I'm in a place called Santorini, Greece. And Santorini, Greece, in fact, is very, very famous. You probably would recognize Santorini if you saw it. And there it is with the great, of course, sky blue domes and the churches. And you can see, of course, the bell tower on one side, the clarion on one side, and then the tower. And of course, which is called a Greek plan of the church. So I taught architecture and, of course, art history for a long time. And the Greek plan looks like a cross. It looks kind of like a plus sign, not like a Latin cross that's like the crucifix, long and then short arms across. But that particular church and others like it is really what Santorini is known for, this beautiful, beautiful, sunlit, gorgeous place. If you haven't had an opportunity to go, I hope you have a chance to go. But when I was traveling there, when I was souvenir shopping there, all kinds of pottery is what you saw. Because, of course, the Greeks are great for those types of pieces, particularly for Greek pottery pieces, specifically the great Greek vases. And when I was at the Yale Art Gallery, we used to say, if it's worth more than $100,000, it's a vase. If it's worth less than $100,000, it's a vase. So you got to know the terminology too. Anyway, so a lot of fun. You know what the Glidden is worth. You know what the, of course, pressed glass is worth. And Joanne wants to, of course, help out with a super chat. Do you feel that sites like eBay and Etsy have actually driven the prices of antiques and collectibles down over the years? I think uninformed sellers have brought prices down. I think people who just say, I don't care, I didn't get it for much, I don't care what I get for it, those folks have hurt the market. I don't think it's particularly the sites. I think there are a lot of informed people like yourselves who are, in fact, understanding that the market and understanding the market is important. And that's what I want to teach you. I don't want you to sell things too low. I don't want you to buy things too high. And I don't want that for anybody. I want you all to get what the pieces are worth so that people have respect for the pieces. That's why I want you to get away from these ideas from people who don't have the same kind of knowledge or background. I want you to get away from the ideas like, oh, it has to be signed to be valuable. Get away from the ideas that are basically just mistakes from people who don't really know. You know, there's a reason why there's certain people who have learned this a long time. And I'm not saying it has to be 1,000,000 degrees in academia only. I'm saying that their method has to be correct. You know, your appraiser shouldn't be also trying to buy something from you, because if they actually are appraising something for you and then they want to buy it from you, they're probably not going to tell you how valuable your piece really is. So be aware, make sure that you get an appraiser. That's me, who doesn't have a dog in the hunt, right? Right. Okay, other questions from you guys. I want to field those tonight because this is all about you. This, of course, I do the live chats so I can answer your questions as well. What else do you want to know? What are some of the issues that are coming up? Some of the issues that have been coming up with my video callers this week. Oh, Carol, it's so much fun to travel with me. Let me tell you, I have a good time. We'll go shopping. I'll teach you. We'll go into the museums. We'll go to the great landmarks. We'll see places you'll remember. We'll have candy. I love candy. Are you getting ready for, of course, getting candy? This is the week to get candy. We'll have, of course, great food and experience cultures. Yes, it's fun to travel with me, and we'll have opportunities to do that too. I'm sorry. Did I miss a question? I apologize. I'm talking, right? You know, I'm rattling off information. You want to be a guest caller? Yes, we're going to take, of course, guests, and we do that. We'll do that Saturday at, of course, 8 o'clock with Ask Dr. Lori. My guests are very popular to have guests on, of course, the show where you can actually be a guest and show me some of your stuff and ask some questions. What other questions do you have for me tonight? So thanks so much for, of course, all of those ideas and for being here. I want you to know what's what. I want you to get it. I want you to learn it. And how are you going to learn it? Be part of the community, because I put the extras in the community tab. The extras are in the community tab. So we want to see what's what. We've got one more for you. One more for you. How about this? I'm going to move that piece of Glidden. I do love the Glidden, though. The American art pottery, beautiful, wonderful pieces, right? Let's put that there. Here's one for you. Hit the like button, people. We at least can do that for Dr. Lori. Well, you do a lot for me. I'm happy that you're my subscribers. I need all of you. I'm happy that you share. Don't forget to go to your other channels and to your groups and share there too, so other people can, of course, learn. Don't keep me as your own secret. I need you to share. I appreciate you getting us to, of course, over 100,000 subscribers and more. So, of course, we've got to do that. Thank you for hitting the like button, too. Make sure you replay the videos. There's a lot of information in all the videos, and there's more videos coming. Kathy, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate that, too. I can't do these if I don't have your help. So how about this piece? Beautiful clasp here on this piece. And you've got, of course, here, open it up, show you the interior, which is beautiful. Show you this particular type of chain, right? And then I'm going to show you the bottom. What questions do you have about this? Is it your style? Do you like it? And let me put it on the Dr. Lori cam. Let's see. So you can get a good look at it, right? There's the clasp, which looks like it could be a brooch. So what does that tell you? Maybe this particular firm, and look at this chain, which looks like it could be a necklace. Is it possible that this firm has actually decided that they're going to move into purses and accessories from costume jewelry? What do you think? Think outside the box when you're looking at these pieces and when you're doing your research. You have to think about your research as well and how to identify these pieces. Okay, so this is your little clutch purse. Think about time period. Where's Ralph, who knew the time period for the Glidden? Is there a maker's mark? No, it is not marked. There's not a label in it anymore. The label has been lost. So now you have to do some of your own thinking. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks so much for the super sticker. You're supporting the channel. You're supporting new videos that'll help you to make money. What do we think? It'll also help you to just enjoy your, of course, hobby. You don't have a purse like that. Okay, Robert. Robert doesn't have a purse like this. I like that. Okay. What do we think? Clasp looks like it's an interesting pattern. The clasp is really beautiful. The clasp really could be a pin. Is the mark on the back of the clasp? So know where to look. Yeah, there were some missing stones. Very small missing stones. Yes, in the clasp. That's right. Other things. The material is what you might want to be asking about. The shape might tell you the age. Thank you, Kelly. The material, of course, is something you want to think about, as well as, is this gold tone? Is this gold tone? Is this piece actually dipped, right? Is it vermeil, dipped in gold? These are some of the questions. Robert's missing out. Posh is like, get this pocketbook, Robert. You need one of these. You need one of these, right? Terrific. What's the fabric, right? You want to look for the fabric. You want to look for the shape because, of course, purses in different time periods will relate to the shape, right? It will relate to the shape as well. So think about these particular pieces. Is it velvet? It is not velvet. It's not velvet. Information on this particular piece, all the information on it, including its value, is on the community tab. That's where you can go and check it out. That's where all of the answers on the community tab and lots of other extras are there too. If you want to go shopping and you need some, of course, elements that are must-haves like the loop, well, you've got to get over to drloriv.com shopping. That's the link right at the bottom. I hope you learned a lot tonight. I had some fun answering your questions. Thanks so much for the super chats and the super stickers. I'm Dr. Lori. I'll see you next time. Don't forget, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time for more Ask Dr. Lori Live.